For the longest time, audiences enjoyed the idea of a hero, a pure-spirited individual with an infallible moral compass who displays righteousness in the most trying of circumstances. But it seems we as an audience have changed our minds. We crave something different, something darker, something more flawed, more human. But why? Over the last 3 decades, these darker individuals, more commonly known as anti-heroes, have slowly but surely been stealing the limelight from our traditional men in tights, starting from the likes of the Punisher back in 1989 up until today with Deadpool and Wolverine. And this trend comes with no sign of slowing down, with Joker 2, Venom 3 and Kraven coming out within this year alone. So it's safe to assume our bad good guys are here to stay. And with the recent critical and financial downfall of our once towering superhero films, the anti-heroes might be in for a hostile takeover. So that poses the question, are anti-heroes the future of the superhero genre? Let's take a look at how we got to where we are today and what the future of the genre might hold. An anti-hero is a character who lacks traditional heroic qualities, idealism, courage, morality. Unlike their counterparts, anti-heroes are flawed. More often than not driven by personal motivations rather than altruism, individuals who are willing to break the rules to achieve their goals. They operate in that moral gray area. Their main goal isn't to inspire, but to reflect the imperfections and internal conflicts that real people face. Characters like Batman, Wolverine, and the Punisher helped set the standard for this archetype, with some people saying that Namor the Submariner, who made an appearance in Black Panther 2, was actually the first true instance of an anti-hero in the comic book world. And over the next 50-60 years, as anti-heroes grew in complexity and popularity, studios started to recognize their potential in live action, and so birthed a new wave of comic book films, centered around less traditional heroes. But the early projects were definitely a hit and a miss. There was a crappy Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren, a crappy Spawn movie with Michael Jai White, yada yada yada. A few more years then, in 1998, we got Blade, which was fan-fucking-tastic. And fun fact, the first successful Marvel movie. Until the day I die, I'll advocate for how important and seminal this feature was in paving the way for the modern era of superhero films and not just anti-hero films. Fucking love this rave scene. Alright, then we got a pretty good Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves, another Punisher, some decent Hellboy films, and an atrocious, worthless, pile of shit Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider movie. Oh god, the early 2000s Nick Cage was irredeemable. He did get pretty damn jacked for it though. But regardless, post-Blade, the next time an anti-hero film made a real impact on the genre, in my humble opinion, was Zack Snyder's Watchmen. I love this film. It had a captivating story, complex characters, moral ambiguity, political undertones, awesome stylized comic visuals, and a perfect utilization of the film's R rating. I'm of course referring to Manhattan's Floppy Blue Penis. It was by far the biggest budget endeavor in the genre thus far, and really showed how to do the R rating justice. But like many good anti-hero projects of this era, it followed a common trajectory. Flop at the box office and then get new life on the DVD home release, becoming more of a cult classic than anything. Nonetheless, these early films acted as the testing ground for audiences to become more open to the idea of darker narratives and less atypical character models. And I think granting them that R rating had a big part to play. You can't make a gritty film about a renegade hero and not be a little rebellious yourself. But for good reason, studios began to slow down on producing such films, especially with the MCU coming into form in the 2010s. Until 2016. Of course, we can't talk about anti-heroes without the merc with a mouth himself. 2016's Deadpool was a major turning point in anti-hero films. An irreverent, ultra-violent, meta-humor-filled film which became the biggest R-rated movie of all time. And on a comparatively small budget, Deadpool brought something to the genre which had never really been seen before: comedy. The epitome of Deadpool is that it's funny as fuck to see a superhero be naughty sometimes, to break the rules, the fourth wall, and his own legs. The roaring success of this blew the doors wide open for R-rated superhero films, and so encouraged studios to use their anti-hero characters to take advantage of audience interest. And the following year, we were treated to one of the best X-Men movies of all time, Logan, finally giving audiences a grittier, more mature take on Wolverine, which had frankly been missing from any other X-Men project. Then like clockwork, the year after that, Sony came out with Venom. And yeah, well, Venom doesn't really hold a candle to the previous two, but riding off their coattails, this goofy anti-hero film also claimed box office success, granting it a trilogy. Who the fuck would have guessed that? Not me. And at this point, every studio with the relevant IP clamored to get their anti-hero films into production, and so DC came out with Joker, which somehow took the top spot off Deadpool to become the new highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, and won yet another actor the Oscar for playing the Crown Prince of Crime. Listen, I don't even care that it doesn't represent the Joker IP whatsoever. It can be a good movie regardless, but I'm sorry. Nah, actually fuck that. I am not sorry. This movie is ridiculous and absurd and just came out to the right controversial media coverage and made the right memes and talked about sort of relevant social issues of anti-government and mental health, and by the same fucked up cosmic entropy that made the Hawk girl famous, Joker made $1 billion. It had terrible writing, a convoluted plot, weird up their own ass artsy scenes.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
And don't you dare fucking fight me on this, because you'd be advocating for a movie which Joe Meatball Rogan called a masterpiece.
Phoenix is a fucking master.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's a masterpiece.
I cannot wait for Joker 2 to bomb so fucking hard. It's not gonna bomb though, is it? What are you gonna do? We live in a society. But one thing it definitely does deserve credit for is helping deliver us more masterpieces of the anti-hero genre, like Morbius and Black Adam. And so brings us to the current state of anti-hero films. And there's no better example than Deadpool and Wolverine to advocate for the persistence of anti-hero films. It made well over $1 billion. It's the second highest grossing movie of the year and took the top spot back from Joker as the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. Can you believe that people now have the audacity to say that the MCU is back? I don't think this gives any evidence that people give a shit about the dreck that Kevin Feige is producing, but it definitely does suggest that people want to see a different kind of superhero movie. Something less predictable, less cookie cutter, flipping the genre on its head, as reviewers love to say. Anti-heroes make for a more interesting dynamic, whether that's with the villains they face or the other heroes they interact with. They muddy the waters, divide audiences, keep us guessing, and sometimes questioning our own morals. And I'm right there with you. Even if I could give less of a shit about Joker 2, Venom 3, Thunderbolts, and I just read that the other day DC are thinking of making a Deathstroke and Bane movie, I'm sure as hell feeling the superhero fatigue along with everyone else. No more boring origin stories where the hero fights a villain of the same powers and opposite color palette. We want better. Now some honorable mentions of anti-hero projects that helped us get to where we are today, but I just didn't have time to talk about them in the video. The TV show The Boys, which is starting to suck but started great. Swamp Thing, Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, Loki, I guess, Killmonger, who is great, and V for Vendetta, even though it's, not a superhero, but it's an Alan Moore comic, so we can put that in there too, I guess, whatever. But back to the premise of this video. Does any of the crap that I've been talking about indicate that anti-heroes will be the future of the superhero genre? Who the fuck knows? It's a step in the right direction, maybe, probably not. Good movies are becoming endangered these days. But yeah, this is the part of the video where I ask you questions. What's your favorite anti-hero character, movie, show, comic, thing? Which one do you want to see come out now that there's possibly a better chance? Or do you think I'm a dumbass and this is a harebrained theory with crap evidence? Alrighty, I'll shut up. You like and subscribe, please. And as always, appreciate you watching.